Actually, today, maybe we'll have a webinar a little longer than 30 minutes because I figured it out. If I want to show you everything what I have here, then maybe it will take about 40 minutes. So just for the information at the beginning. So the idea of those 3 days or 3 series is to prepare you to start to work on European projects. So what I will answer today is what you've already been giving in my presentation on my poll. So for the next meeting, I will give the link only to those who will really apply for the webinar and who will answer the questionnaire, because then I can prepare my presentation much better than just overall presentation what you need. And this is the answer from that poll, what really you have problems with, and this is what is very important for me. So this is 4 different answers to that question, and all of them have problems with the path from idea to the project proposal. So I will start really first 3 steps you need to have to start a European project done. And then I will talk is another question, demanding to create integrated proposal. This is the core what I'm doing here. I'm not doing, you know, just try to do something which will look like European project, but really be integrated from basic idea to everything you need to be submitted at the end. If people ask me that, I basically don't know where to start, so this presentation today is definitely what they need to do, and general guidance how to develop the project idea. So I will cover these things, and in those 3 webinars, so first will be today, and another 2 weeks, I will try to do all steps you need to have to start writing the application. So we will talk just about the designing idea. Why I'm doing this, because I also, and I'm telling again, 80% of all European projects is in preparing the idea. So writing the application is easy part. Writing the application is about, you know, 1 week of work when you have everything prepared, because then you just need to put this into the words. Idea is most important. So our starting point is we want idea which will be fundable, of course, which will be innovative, because that way will be fundable, will be easy to describe. So for us, easy to understand and put into the papers, and also for our later on to understand, and to have very good potential to impact. I don't want to do project for the sake of the project, but to really change the life of somebody who will use that. And this is the most important part. So I really don't want to do anything about just the project, just important is impact. So I already described this in my previous webinars, that probably 10 years was the time when I developed this framework, and now is working very, very easy and smooth, and every year is something different, better. So with this much short development time, really straight steps, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And this is how I'm doing myself. So I don't say that this is the only way. This is how I'm doing, and this proved to be very, very good. Okay, back to basics, just to remind some things. So preparation for the application writing is the most important part of the application writing. So if you will not do the preparation well, you cannot make very good project. So you now need to know that a lot of people is just start of writing the Erasmus application straight into the e-forms. You saw the statistic last time. So if you will do differently, your level will be higher and you will be definitely much better when you will go into the evaluation part. So normally, this is the one of the application about 100 pages long, and a lot of people just open it to start to write the text in without any idea. So I will show you, this is how your brains see the application. A lot of text, and you see here, you know, what is the problem, consequences, affecting target group, innovation, and you need to put on the right place in the complete application. This is very difficult for your brain to start to look at that piece of paper. So we need to first dissect the complete application, put into the structure, allow your brain to start think about that, and then put it back in the paper. So this I did in my framework. So then I put all those pieces together into the structure of the European project, and this is why is this very important and easy to use. So we need to organize the data and allow your brain to develop new idea by themselves. So you need to allow yourselves to be easy to use application, the complete framework. So when I put everything into the structure, then I develop the tools, which is that development of the special part, and then it's much easier to think what is the causes for one problem, what is the evidences, how you can do it, what is the affected target groups, and what is the correlation between them. And today I will show you how I'm doing this. I need to tell you again, what you will hear today and the next 2 workshops is taught by me in the 3 to 5 days workshop. I cannot tell everything here now. You need to do your own work, but still, I think it is very important that we understand this. So again, we are going for current situation to the improved situation. At the beginning, we need to say why this problem affects us. We are not telling what we will do. This is very important. We not tell what we do. Why? Who is affected? Then with that we present that we know the problem. And then how we will solve it, what will be changed, and this present how we will fix it. So this is basic idea of the project. So in these 3 webinar series, I will show you those different tools, and I also give you the example from the workshop, from the application, so you can see what is the text at the end, not just, you know, how you need to do the end. Okay, Today we will focus on that first part. We will focus on the why, and we will focus on affected target groups. On the next 2 workshops, we will go deeper into intellectual outputs, needs analysis, and all those things related to that, innovation, of course. So where to start? If you didn't do that, go to my website, subscribe, and get all the templates you can get. So one is the about 100 pages long presentation on all those tools with a, you know, with a really deep text how to do it. My way today is to really try to describe them, but you can do it also on your own. So this is a lot of different slides which will tell you about Erasmus Plus project. So use it for your advance. Before you will go into what I'm doing today, you need online template for the project idea development. Go here, make a copy so you can then use it for yourself. So you will use that later. So let's start. At the beginning, we need to say, why is that problem? So this is probably the most important part at the beginning. So if you don't know where to start your idea, watch my previous workshop. It's everything about how to develop idea, where to go, what tools to use, where to check. And this is small advance in your way. Later, you will see that you will have your own ways. You will have your own environment, your friends, workshops. You will do your idea differently, but you need to start somewhere. So let's try these tools in that previous workshop. Try those. So watch webinar 04. For example, I also give you some ideas. This is from my last workshop. I need to say some of those are already being developed, but I need to repeat again. I'm not scared to give all my knowledge and all my ideas which will be developed to everyone. Why is that? Because I know even if I give you the complete idea, you will develop the results and idea differently than me. So both of us, we can work together. And then maybe we can be a partner or something like this. So, for example, you can mindset in good practices. I know that children in the primary school especially have very big problem with I can do, I cannot, this is too hard. This persistence is very different. Then child in the primary schools, they also want to have everything. They need to get the limit. So we already developed one project, how to give a child the right limit. So what is good for them and what is good also for parents, because I already see a lot of parents be really drained out of the energy because they are giving everything to kids and kids does not do anything. And this is not good for them future life. Teacherpreneurs is definitely a very important sphere now in the future, because teacher, especially in the vocational education, need to know how to be entrepreneurs first if they want to teach that. And we started to have a big community of teachers who are entrepreneurs, have their own company, and they also teach into the schools. And we see now a lot of those teachers also in the primary schools, because they need to have some background, not just for entrepreneurs, but in every other practice. So not just to be public teachers can be something like this. I know some countries does not allow that, but in the Western Europe, this will be a very important factor, because these give much better advanced for the teacher, for the children. Children know firsthand how they need to do something. Again, persistence training, you know, they cannot run 100 meters because it's too hard. They cannot use the bicycle for 10 kilometers because it's too hard. So we need to have very good training, and I start to do it with the outdoor games. When the children start to play, they start to do also the persistence. And persistence is very important when even if you want to prepare Erasmus project. Without the persistence, you cannot do it. Sometimes very difficult. In the middle of the work, you'll see that it's very difficult. You don't know how to do it. But any case, you have me here. If you have a problem, just personal message me or call me or whatever. So persistence is very important. So there is a lot of ideas. You can start with them and then you can use your own, of course. But whatever you will check whatever idea we'll select, first check it. And where to check it is on the Erasmus Plus results portal. Here is an example. I search for the xenophobia because I want to develop the project about xenophobia, and I saw that already 640 projects is on that keyword. And probably I need to really figure it out how I can do a new project about xenophobia if already 600 project is developed. So I need to figure it out the way how to do it. So check first your idea and the supported keywords. You know, sometimes you can say xenophobia using the movies, or xenophobia, preventing the xenophobia using the cartoons. So you need to know the connection between your keyword and then you'll see how many projects are developed in that way. If there will be too much project, you will have a problem how to support your evidence and how to support your innovation. So you need to really know why you are doing this. So when you will know all of this, you need to start with your problem. And the tool number one, which is probably the wider known tool, is problem tree. And I will start with just one part of the problem tree because this part is most important part for your problem. And this problem tree is generally for developing project idea and give you a look on your existing idea and what you want to do. So, for example, always you need to say what is your problem and then first find few causes for your problem. What is the cause one for your problem? And what will be the consequence of that problem? So, for example, here is one example. This is real project. We develop it about kids' obesity. So this is the problem, kids' obesity. So first step is to figure it out what causing this problem. Why you need this? Because there is no specific question in the e-forms about what causing your problem or what is your result of your problem. These two questions will give you a very good insight what is going on with your problem. So, for example, cause, as I said, for the problem, we need to have causes and the consequences. So below, what is the causes for kids' obesity? Parents too busy. Because they are parents too busy, they allow kids to do everything and they eat whatever they want and don't do enough sports. They are watch too much time on the TV or you have too much food. So all of those are causes for the kids' obesity. So what is the problem? Problem are definitely they get bad remarks for other people. You know, there is stereotypes about obese kids and so on. Of course, their illness. They cannot do whatever the other kids do. And illness will be more problematic when the age is advanced. So later in their life, they have much more problems than other people. They will probably have negative self-image. If you're weak and obese, you know that you cannot do this as other kids do. And of course, bullying as well. So kids' obesity is not just kids are obese. They need to figure it now why they have this and what are the consequences of this obesity. And when you start to really drill into that problem, you will see how this affects your project idea. Because whatever you will find here, there's a problem to kids' obesity. This will also be seen in your application later. If you'll talk about not enough sports, one of the solutions for that problem could be later, you know, maybe allow more sports for those kids or teach kids about the food. So you need to really do a very good job when find what causing the problem. So how do you do this? Definitely you need to go online and search problems about kids' obesity. What is the problem causing kids' obesity? And maybe you will find there very good reasons for doing that. Later, you will maybe see that you lack some of those problems, because later in the project development, you see that you don't have enough cause for that problem. Then you can go back and start again. So this problem 3, that first step, I will not go into the second step and the third step, because we generally just use that first step. It's very important. So go back if you have this problem. So definitely your homework is that you prepare your project idea. Take big paper. Take big paper, put it on the table and do it now something and later something, and your brain will really go into the project, the problem, and then you can just write. Don't try to do it in 5 minutes. This is wrong approach. So how I'm doing, at the beginning, I did it this way. I just printed something like that. And the beginning and the middle, I have the problem. And I just have 4 squares here and 4 on the top. And just try to find 4 causes on the problem and 4 consequences for the problem. If I cannot do 4 causes and 4 consequences, I don't know enough about the problem. So I need to go into the idea more to really see why this problem exists and who is affecting and why this consequences is going on. So again, these causes and consequences are not something which you can do in 5 minutes. Sometimes on my workshop, when 5 or 10 people is around one problem, we can do really good brainstorming and do this in 10 minutes. But definitely this is not drilled enough into problem. You need to know about that problem, everything. If you will not know, you cannot write about this. Okay? So, problem, causes, consequences. This is base for your project. If you don't know everything about that, you cannot write the project. So, the second part for that is evidences. Here you said some causes, but evaluators probably don't know about the problem as you do. So you need to go into finding the evidences for your problem. So you need to go. So what are the evidences? Why we need them? We definitely need them because evaluators want to have the proof that that problem exists and that causes really exist. So how do we find the evidences and what is the problem analysis necessary for the project? I will show later with the examples. So this is one example of what I'm doing normally. I'm reading a lot of different analysis, a lot of articles and so on. And when I find really good support article, then I start to think about ideas. Sometimes you need to do that way, but I normally now am doing that way just because if I already find the supporting evidence, it's much easier than later to describe the project. Of course, I need to relate to the problem. I cannot, work on the space shuttle because I don't know anything about it, but I need to go into the problem I already know. So, for example, compared to the PISA 2012, results show that low achievers, so people who are not achieving, has increased to 20%, plus 4% in science, 20% in reading, and 22% in math. In addition, 44% of EU population has low or no digital skills. So this is very important evidence, and this is from PISA results. So when I will put the evidence, I will show this is found by the PISA results and these are the numbers. So just with that sentence, with just this one sentence, I can show that this is really existing and evaluators will understand and believe me because this is official result. So this is very, very important, not just giving you your previous experience. You just need to show what is official results, official statistics. So another thing is that you need to show that problem exists across the Europe. You cannot work on the project which is existing just in your country or just in your city. You need to find the problem which is all across the Europe. So when you try to find the statistic, you need to find a way where this statistic will show across the Europe and then by the countries. And then if there in this statistic will be 5 countries, try to get partners from those countries to be very easy then to show why those partners are there. So because they say, because they have this and this problem, and all of us have the same problem, we will solve it with our innovative solution. So this is the easy and only way how to present your problem in or across the Europe. So you always need to check state of the art in the field. State of the art means what people know about the problem in this current moment. What is the latest knowledge in the field? So you then need to do analysis, report, search, and do a lot of different researching to find what is really a need all across the Europe. So when you find this like a PISA results, this is all across the Europe, because we are explaining this in that PISA results, and then you can also see where is the worst achievers, and then you can find the really partners from those countries. So, for example, if we are looking state of the art of the key skills of critical thinking, you can search the keyword critical thinking Europe report, and you will find a lot of different results. Or critical thinking in schools, or critical thinking best practice. So that way you will find all different results, and then the report should be referred to the European Union. For example, you will a lot of time find example from USA or Asia, but it is important that you are referring to the European Union, because you are funded the European Union. We need to cover the problems in the European Union. If there is no evidences about this, and you can find just in the United States, you need to say why not from the European Union. I already find sometimes a problem which already exists in the USA, but there is still not big problem in the EU. But you can say, based on previous experience, that will happen also in the EU. So we can use what they have in the USA and try to figure it out how we will solve this in Europe. So this is how you really prove what is the problem across the Europe. So why so important? Because relevance of the project always wants that you really do a solid analysis. So here is what you will find, the guide of experts, and guide of experts is the Bible of the evaluators. And then they practically need to know everything about this guide. And in this guide is written that proposal needs to prove a solid analysis drawing on existing knowledge. So existing knowledge means state of the art. Solid analysis, you need to really show that you did some analysis on it, and then you will identify needs and the target groups and organization which firmly rooted in the target group's solid needs analysis. So I prepared the complete project. I had everything ready, but my problem analysis before the problem was not done good. This is why I just started to write one application, which I really didn't go into what is the problem. So I didn't do this part. I didn't do what is the problem, what is the causes, and what is the consequences. And because of that, I got negative feedback for the evaluators, and that means that I spent at that time months or two of work, and still I didn't got very good needs analysis. Because of that, I didn't get the project. The problem with the solid needs analysis is that you maybe cannot just resubmit next year. Why? Because intellectual outputs, needs of the target group are based on the needs analysis. If I will find in that needs analysis something else, maybe my intellectual outputs will not fit into anymore. And that means I spent all time in waste because I didn't do needs analysis. That's why I'm saying do your problem 3 very well, do the solid needs analysis, and this is base for your next steps for what everybody needs from that target group. So needs analysis takes always time, so just don't try to do it in 5 minutes. Search the internet, search the official statistics, search articles of renowned authors or institutions in that field. So you need to know who is, for example, very good in that article. Policies and recommendations, you know. Sometimes it's also very good to know what Europe is writing in that field. What is a policy? What is the recommendation to be developed in next year? So you can use that. And when you're preparing the analysis, use that web annotation tool. I already been talking in my previous webinars, for example, like Igor or Pocket, so you can select sentences or parts of the website somewhere and then put in one place that you can look later when you try to define what is the best for your product. Okay, so that was idea. Now we need to go who is affected, who is that target group who is affected. So let's figure it again. We already discussed that part: causes, problem, consequences, evidences, and analysis. Now we are going into who. So here we need to say who is affected group by that problem. We need to draw that from the evidence. That's why it's very important that in that evidence from trusted source is written who have this problem. For example, before I already told you, low achievers in the secondary school. So this is now very easy to say who is affected target group, who is a final recipients, who is a target group. You know, I make this difference. Final recipients is who will get your final knowledge. So in that case, with the obese kids, final recipients will be kids. Affected target group, but this also can be maybe parents of those kids, or can be could be teachers. So you need to educate both of them, and all of them have their needs. For example, obese kids have these needs about how to do more sport, how to lower their on-screen time, or how to eat better food. But for example, their parents have other needs. They need to know how to persuade the kids to eat broccoli, for example, or how to make them to do more physical exercises. So teachers needs one set of needs and skills, and kids needs another. So it is very important that with your project you will do all those different levels of the target groups. So how the innovation, we will cover this next time. What is the innovation, what is the bridging process, and how to use known good practices. But any approach we will do, the results we will prepare needs to respond to that analysis. So if we will prepare the products and activities about kids to go outside and play more, we need to provide maybe a different set of games for them. This could be one result. Or then if we will have set of games for the kids, maybe we need to also prepare methodology for the teachers, how to use that method to be able to get them outside and do more physical exercises. So teachers have one set of skills and kids needs to get another set of skills. So for example, kids then can go to mobilities, maybe in another country, and see how other kids is doing physical exercise through the games. And also the teachers could go in another country, do learning, teaching, training events in another country, how to promote good physical exercise through games. So, and get knowledge how their other people is doing and make connections to be better teachers. So now you can see, if you start very good with the problem, causes and consequences, you will know what they need, what are their needs, and what innovation or what results you need to provide to really cover and answer that problem. We need to do it. So this is very important, and impact, of course, will be this skills and knowledge I have developed from that results and the learning for mobilities. And then impact will be what is now different. So this is another view on the problem needs and analysis. So project results, as already said, have two different needs. And for example, teachers know how they need to do, and they will need to teach final recipients. The problem here is just later the innovation. We will cover this in next stop. So how you can persuade your kids that we will do physical education if they don't want. You know that you need to teach them, and they know they need to do more physical exercise, but they still don't want. So your innovation is how you will do it. So what will be this? Will be gamification, will be, you know, set of different skills, will be application on the phone. So whatever is you will doing, this will be done by the innovation. This innovation will be covered next time. So both will get new knowledge and skills. So teachers will get new knowledge and skills, and you need to know what skills and knowledge they will get, because you will need to explain it later. In intellectual inputs, you will need to describe what will be the new knowledge and skills of the teachers who will get. And later, of course, you need to also describe new skills and knowledge for the kids. So it is much more easy to describe it if you know those things, these basic things. So how I'm doing needs and wants from the final recipients, for example. I just, again, print this and try to find what final recipients needs in order to change the problem. So, as I said before, what those kids, obese kids, need to change. So that's why you already have this problem tree. You see what is the problems as a consequence. Now you need to try to find what you need to do these needs. Another very important set of information is their wants. So you need to try to figure it out what they really want in their education. Do they want maybe just using the computer or the phone, or they are addicted in the gamification, in the games? So we can use maybe gamification to persuade them to go outside, search something, do the game, and during this they will do the really physical exercises. So once you just need to describe what is that, and also of course you need to describe who is the final recipients. Here will be primary school kids aged from 9 to 12, for example. This is just what I give the example now. So this is very important. So just put one piece of paper on your table and try to develop it during the days. Of course, you need to also say what is the needs of your target groups, of your teachers, what those teachers need, what skills they need to know how to persuade the kids to be more physical active. So what will help them to solve this problem. And also you need to say who will solve that project, who will implement the project. So if you will have intellectual output for the kids and intellectual output for the teachers, who will implement it? You will implement, or you will have maybe implementation framework or implementation network, or you will have country promoters. So maybe I will tell in the future what are different models to implement the project. And of course, there is a complete set of knowledge how to implement the project later when you are approved. So now we are talking about how to develop the project, and then people normally think, oh, now I have a project, I just need to go to implement it. And there, from my perspective, I see there is even more demand later, because you need to know how to implement, how to communicate, how to guide the complete partnership, and how to do it. And this, of course, I will cover again with one of my webinars later. So do those two different pages. One is the final recipient's needs and wants, and one is the target group needs. And try to figure it out what information you have, and then you can put together on those papers. So this is one of the example of those final results which are from my real application. This is not just something I tried to, made up. This is how I did. So the complete structure I did from the beginning of today's webinar until now will be just probably 2 or 3 sentences, nothing more. But those 3 sentences is probably the most important sentence in your application. And here is an example. Here you said the target group of this project will be this and this. So the evaluator will exactly know who is the target group. Here, for example, youth workers in youth centers, and the need which needs to gain understanding of the importance of digital skills. So very specific to target groups. More specific you can define your target group, easier will be later for you to implement the project, because you can really easy your way to find those target group to teach them. So first you define the target group, and then you define the needs. And you can say professional youth workers needs enough knowledge and methodology for teaching digital marketing. This is one need. Specific need of the needs are gain working level of use of digital marketing skills. So also very important that you have here the link to the evidence. So in just those 4 sentences, you define target group, what are their needs, and here link to the evidence. And everything is very clear from that perspective. So evaluators, when we read this, practically he should be able to understand what is going on here. Okay, so the next example is maybe written differently, but still the same. we say target group is teachers from primary and high school, and what are their needs, and this is the link to the evidence that these needs exist. And again, target group 2, students 14 to 70 years old, and what is the evidence of what they are doing. So this is very easy for you to really finalize your steps you did before with the tree, problem solving tree with the analysis, and this is the result of those first step, and this is very important. And based on that, if you will do that way, you will get 30 points for that why you're doing the project. And this is very important. This is the easiest way how to get those points. And if you know that sometimes you get the application even for the 70 points, that means that just with those 2 sentences, you have half of your project done. So stick to it, how the best you can do it in those steps, and it's easy to do. So half of the project is done here. Okay, so this is the first step of our project.